Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by current Oxford points leader in the super late model category and the current points leader of the Kulwicki driver development program, Max Cookson. Of course, from your neighborhood, you may know him from watching him at Oxford, and of course, he'll be at the Oxford 250 in a few weeks, and more stuff there. How are you, bud?
I'm doing really good, man. It's been a really busy last few days, but
Yeah.
it's kind of calmed down now a little bit, and just getting back into our normal routine.
Okay, before we ask you about all the KDDP stuff, we gotta ask you. We gotta talk about yesterday because it was an eventful day. So I'm not gonna set the scene for it. I'm just gonna let you do that. So kind of explain what happened yesterday because it was a lot.
Yeah, so it all started out on Saturday at Oxford. We went to Oxford for the second to last championship race that they have in their series, and we're in a super tight battle with Dave Farrington, who's a two-time KDDP semifinalist and
Yep.
a big advocate for the program. And we went into the night with a 6 point lead on Dave, and we drove 18th to second and gained 1 point on Dave, and just needed a good night there to be able to have, somewhat of a gap going into the last race. Excuse me. Um, so Saturday night, everything went great. Car was clean, everything was good. Second place, our eighth second place of the season thus far. And so we made the decision to head back to the shop and go back to the shop Saturday night at about 11 o'clock. And myself and Mike Steves and Bo Steves from Steves Property Maintenance, and one of my crew guys, Devin, we worked on the car until about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Girlfriend was there, Sarah, helping clean him some. My dad worked on a few things, so we all worked all night um, to get the car ready to go to Hudson Sunday. So it was 2:30. We had a couple things, left on the car, but knew we'd have time at the racetrack to kind of get it done. So we went back to the house and slept for a few hours. And I got up in the morning and jumped in the dually, just myself, and headed to Hudson. And about an hour and a half into the trip, I was just going through Kennebunkport. I was on a 3-lane highway. I was in the left-hand lane with a guardrail to my left, and rolled up over a little hill and was just met with brake lights and traffic fanning out everywhere. And there was an elderly lady in front of me in a Jeep who had seen, everything happening and cars scrambling and whatnot. And she had got, scared, I'd call it, and stepped on the brakes. And she probably had 10 car lengths in front of her to the next car. And I just couldn't slow down the truck and trailer quick enough and hit her, and resulted in, actually found out that the dually was totaled. And so I was in the left-hand lane of a 3-lane highway,
Yeah.
up against the guardrail. I airbag smoked my face, messed up a pair of my glasses,
Yes.
and the truck went into SOS mode. This is 2021, the truck we were using, my sponsor's truck. And so it's a newer truck, so it has all the emergency features. And so within a few seconds, I was on the call with OnStar, through the truck,
Right.
and to get the safety, the safety personnel there. But when the truck went in SOS mode like that, I couldn't roll the window down, either side, and I couldn't open the door because I was wedged up against the guardrail, and I couldn't open the right-hand door because traffic was still just a screaming. So I sat in the truck for like 2 minutes, just with all the fire extinguisher, stuff from the airbag and all the fluids and whatever else is in there. And, I'm just coughing up and hacking all that stuff. It was awful. And finally, the truck figured itself out, and I was able to roll down the window, and I couldn't open the door. So I had to crawl out of it like I would a race car.
Jeez.
And so the wrecker got there, and they got us towed to the other side of the highway,
Yeah.
and waited for a heavy wrecker to take the trailer So we unhooked the truck from the trailer, and it was such a hard impact that the gooseneck ball in the bed of the truck bent forward. In the truck, if that hit a little harder, that trailer could have came undone, and it would have been a trailer coming through the back of the truck. So got lucky there that held together. So myself and the rest of my guys, we split the truck and the trailer up, and they took the dually away on a flatbed and hauled the trailer to Kennebunkport to the rest stop. And whilst all that was going on, I'd been on the phone with John, because it was his truck, with the insurance company and everything.
Right.
And then with my dad, who was got another dually from here and was headed down the road, which was like an hour and a half ride. So at this point, we're just sitting at Kennebunk, and everything in the trailer was thankfully all right. One of the crew guys joked that the only thing that moved was there was a bag of pretzels on the floor. So everything in the trailer was fine, thankfully.
Yeah.
And so we're just sitting there, and some of the crew guys behind me, that were way behind us, had met us at Kennebunkport and hung around for a little bit. And the plan was just to, cut our losses and, just head home. It wasn't a points race for us for Oxford or Pass or anything. It wasn't a super, super big race. So the plan was just to head home and, just gear up, for the 250, which is our next race. And, I was obviously fine, I'm fine, physically and whatnot, but
obviously the most important thing.
Yeah, mentally it was kind of shocking. I'd never really been in a car crash in a vehicle before on the road. So an airbag, them things will get your attention. So once I kind of chilled out and talked on the phone with John a couple times, the last time I talked to him, he had another flatbed coming to get his truck to bring it back home. And everything was all right there and squared away. And whilst we've been talking, they've made 20 of those trucks. So you can replace trucks and vehicles and that stuff, but there's only one of me. I can't be replaced. That was the biggest thing that he kept saying. And and then while we were sitting there, I got a call from Ben Banowski, the track owner of Hudson, who had heard what happened and offered. Said he had a Dodge 3500 with a gooseneck ball sitting right there that he'd send to go get us if we still wanted to come. And at that point, we had a truck coming to get us, to take us home, and said, "I appreciate your offer, but we're just gonna head home for the day." And just the cards weren't dealt for us, today to go to the races. And so I was on the phone with my dad at some point when he was driving down there after I talked to John and Ben, and I hadn't even bothered asking my dad if we could still go to the races. I hadn't even mentioned it to him really, because he weren't planning on going that day, and he was just coming to get us and go home. And I figured it weren't even worth my breath to ask him if we could still really go. And so I told him what Ben offered, and that was a pretty big gesture, we felt like, for him to offer up. Hey, I got a truck right here. I'll send someone in it and drive 2 hours and come get you guys. You guys can come to our track and race tonight. So told that to my dad, and he was kind of just like, why not? Let's go. We're here. We're ready. Everything's mostly done. So we so once we knew we were going racing, I kind of walked over to the side by the trailer, and I'd walk back over, and some of the guys were standing around one of their pickup trucks. Excuse me. I just said to the guys, "We're going racing, boys." And they were all like, "What? Are you kidding me?" And a bunch of the crew guys, had already started heading back towards where they lived, like an hour the wrong way away from the racetrack after driving halfway there already. So called all of them. They had to turn around and head back to the races. So it made they did a lot of driving that day. So we get there at, I don't even know when, 4:35. And before that, sorry, not to get off track, but while we're sitting there in Kennebunk, we realized we're going racing. I'm like, shoot, man, we're going to be late. I got to get everything that I can get done. So I finished up a couple of things on the race car, and got a set of tires all sized up at the truck stop, unloading them from the trailer, and was sizing them all up at the truck stop just to try to get everything that we could done. So when we got there, we could just basically unload and go for the most part. And so we get to the races. We got one 10 lap round of practice. Thing was so tight on landing, it weren't even funny. And Kevin Nobley, my crew chief, took some swings at it for qualifying, and we bolted on a set of stickers and missed the pole by 3 thousandths to Joey Pole, who's lives about a half mile from Hudson, so that's his home track, and he's got 9,000 laps down there, so he's the hometown favorite there. And so they inverted 8, and we rolled off 7th for the feature. And me and Joey just picked our way through the field in a hurry. He got to the lead about lap 25, and I was really pushing, just, I don't know if it was maybe everything that was going on or what the case was, but I just wanted to go. And we got to the lead about lap 30, got by Joey. Joey was kind of riding a little bit, and didn't make me work very hard for it. And got by him, and then it was a 100-lap race. So and then for the next 65, 70 laps, Joey Pole, all but pushed me around there. It was half back, one back, looking inside, at your quarter, clear now, hit your mark, straight, just all night for basically that 70-lap run to the end, did not stop. And I knew at that point, I got to drive this thing 110%, because if he gets by me, it don't matter how much I save, I ain't never going to get back by him. So basically drove the car all but 110% all night, which is pretty tough on the tires. And man, I was wore out after that one. Hudson's a rough racetrack. It's a little quarter-mile bull ring. You use a ton of brakes. There's a huge bump getting into one. So it was just a dogfight with him, but he ran us super clean, so hats off to him, for running us, that good. But and then, to cap off the day, to win the race, just a stream of emotions, because, started on Saturday, not knowing how the day was going to go, and then had a good day at Oxford and worked all through the night, was tired, and then you're heading to the races again. And then I total the dually, and then I make it to the races, and then we win the race. And it was just a day of ups and downs, and just kept chugging along. And, to win the race and, roll around there nice and slow, doing a Polish victory lap. And it was just a dang good feeling, and got through tech and got done. And they actually do tech in the infield there. So after the race, kind of got done tech and pulled back out around the track and techs in the infield. So I did a lap around the track, nice and slow, and just kind of soaked it all in to end the night, and back to the hauler. And it was going to be a long ride home, and got all loaded up. And the time we got home, it was 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I slept in pretty good Sunday. It was a long day, but I just can't thank, all my sponsors and all my crew guys, and, in the inspiration of Alan, to keep pushing through was super cool. TR sent me a text about that, and that was just awesome.
Absolutely.
And, it was just unbelievable. Yeah, I remember texting. I know I texted you and TR.
Yep.
And said to a couple of the crew guys, and John, who sponsors truck I was using, he just got telling me, make a story out of it, bud. And we absolutely did. So it was a great way to cap off a not so good day. And the only way the day could have gone any better if there wasn't a wreck truck.
Yeah. As they said before, it's like there's a lot of vehicles out there, but there's only one you. So
yeah,
it's like, obviously a lot of people know this, but obviously everybody knows how scary a car wreck is. I was in one in October. So, going through that, it was like, you never know what could happen. Someone's offering you an opportunity. It's like, maybe I don't want to do this. It's like, hey, why not? You never know. It's like what was going through you. It's like, you go after all that and you go win the thing.
yeah.
Was it like, what am I doing? I was like, how?
For me, when the wreck first happened, all I was thinking about was going to the races. So I remember I called 2 guys that I know that live 30 minutes back from where I went past, and I knew they had dually pickup trucks and was like, hey, can you guys get here? Like, I just wrecked the truck. I gotta go to the races like now. Like, we gotta go. And so my original thought was, I wrecked the truck. I called John, I told him what happened, and then my second phone call was looking for another truck to get to the races.
Yeah.
And then, that kind of went on. And I told those guys, hey, no, we're not gonna go. My old man's coming down with another truck and we're just gonna head back to the house. So at
So
first,
yeah.
all I was thinking about was going to the races. And then it was, okay, calm down here for a minute. We just got in a pretty good scramble here on 95. And once I knew we were going, I was fine. I was completely just in the zone and just had this feeling, man. I don't know. You just have those days, and I've had at least 2 or 3 of them where you just know it's your day. And man, we got into the race, and lap 50 or so, a couple laps after I got by Joey, he was just putting the pressure on us. And I was like, man, I hope the heck we don't finish second again. We finished second 8 times this year with 4 wins. You're just like, it's just been second, 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 second. So I knew, it was just a dogfight, and I was worn out. I came on the radio at one point, and they told me don't forget to breathe because I was just digging for all it was worth. But
Yeah,
it was
sure.
just this is an unbelievable day. It still don't even seem real, and I go look at my phone and see all the pictures and everything, and it's like, no shit, we were on the side of the road with a truck and like trailer unhooked.
Yeah. Um, so going into this race, I know it's been a really good year for you, but just to have this cap off, and of course last week, a few weeks ago, it was announced that you were leading the points. Just talk about what that's like.
Yeah, so everything, this year is we've kind of been big picture racing in all aspects. The weekly championship series at Oxford, really have just been, strategically trying to run those races and maybe sacrificing at times. I say I have 8 second place finishes, probably 4 of those I could have pushed the issue and probably won the race. But in the big picture of things, there's risks, versus reward. And some of those times you just don't take the risk, because you're just big picture racing. And same thing in the pass races. We're leading the North and the National for pass. And everything there has just been flawless. I think our worst finish in the pass race this year is 7th, and we've had second, first, fourth, second. It's just been phenomenal on all aspects. And then the big one, was announced we're leading the Kulwicki Cup for this year, which was
Yeah.
really kind of a surprise to me, to be honest. I didn't really know where we were at. I knew I'm working, so hard in the shop every week, running
Yeah.
1, if not 2 races. Since the start of the year, we've already ran, I think, 21 or 22 races.
Absolutely.
It's all just a blur at this point because it's the same thing every week. I spend Monday cleaning the cars, Tuesday doing all the maintenance, Wednesday I set one up, Thursday I set the other one up, and Friday we clean up, pack up, load up, and get ready to go to races. I mean, there's no downtime. And then you throw in, you got to build a bumper and put some body panels on the thing, and that just throws a wrench and a lot of late nights in there. So for me, I haven't had a ton of downtime. And then doing everything that I try to do off the track has just been so amazing, with building obstacle courses and going to schools, and went to the Travis Mills Foundation and doing fundraisers. And we just donated a pile of backpacks. And I've got a little one going on for bikes right now. I think I've got like 15 bikes in the front of the shop, and I haven't even like publicized it, yet, because it's not like that event for the bikes isn't even until October. And just word of mouth, a couple people I've mentioned it to, I got like 15 bicycles to donate at the end of the year. So like, it's been able to use my platform and do everything. It's just been this year has just been unbelievable on so many accounts, and so much momentum, and drive and everyone going into the 250. That weekend's a lot because we're going to test on Thursday, do tires on Friday, test on Saturday or practice on Saturday again, and the whole day on Sunday. So, that's a long weekend. So to have, all the momentum, going into our biggest weekend of the year, we'll say, is super cool. But just, the the momentum's up right now, the morale's up. Just been able to springboard from race to race to race to race. And we've had, the off weekly race at Oxford where we've got tied up in a little incident. We've just been able to continue, and push through it and just have phenomenal races, to follow up. And really just this weekend was super big. If we had just wrecked the truck and gone home, that would have been just a down, not the best way to go into the 250. So to be able to go in on a win with momentum going into the race is definitely something I think that's going to play a factor. But I just can't thank everyone enough. I can't physically do it myself. There's too much stuff to get done, in the shop, like I mentioned, with my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday schedule. And then I gotta, take a day on Wednesday, to go to school, which I absolutely love doing that stuff. But that's the reality of it, is I lose a whole day, doing that, and gotta pack take the car off the lift and put it in the trailer, and basically lose a day going and doing a lot of that stuff, which, I don't regret doing any of that, but, that's a strain on, what I have for time, only one person. So being able to have, the support of a lot of good people behind me. I got my dad, girlfriend Sarah was always helping cleaning and whatnot. My buddy Devin, my spotter Nick, Steve's property maintenance boys, all my phenomenal sponsors. Having the support of all you guys has just been so big this year.
Absolutely. Speaking of some of the charitable work you've been doing, especially with the Autism Society of Maine, really kind of talk about where you're going to be at in the next few weeks with some of that stuff.
Yeah, so we just did our backpack fundraiser, which turned out phenomenal. I mean, I donated a ton of backpacks to the racetrack this weekend. I still got a bunch of them to take to the local school. And we're doing a raffle tickets right now, selling raffle tickets, and got a little prize package we put together with a cooler and some merchandise. And Stuart Friesen, who's also done a few things, with autism awareness, sent us a couple signed hats. And thanks to Derek Nealand for making that connection with him. So sent us a few signed hats that we put in there as well, and some hero cards from him. And I've been able to raise a bunch of money so far with that. So I haven't set a goal for what I'd like to reach for the end of the year for the Autism Society of Maine, but I thought, I think if we could raise $3,900 for our car number, to go to them, I think that'd be super cool. So we're about halfway there, in that goal right now, and this fundraiser is still going on for them. And like I said earlier, I've got a ton of bicycles that we're getting ready to do for them, and no set plans yet, but I'm sure we'll definitely be going to a couple more schools this year as school season starts to pick back up here at the end of summer. And really just, take any opportunity I can get in every phone call, always make sure to answer it. And, really they've all just kind of flowed together super good so far. So it's all kind of worked out, heading into 250, haven't got a ton going on right now. So really just going to try to live in the shop for a week and maybe sleep on the couch a night or two, and try to gear up and be 110% prepared, for our biggest weekend of the year.
Yeah. All right. Well, Max, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with us, and we will see you at the where will you be racing next? Well, I think where you're going to be racing next. I think it is the Oxford 250. And by the way, I believe it is also a TR special race, because he will be there. So that will be fun for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait to see TR. We've talked about a few plans, and can't wait to see him and CC up here, and can't wait to talk to him, and hopefully have some time to sit around the campfire, a couple of nights, and talk some old racing stories, and see him up here. And it sure would be some special to win the 50th anniversary of the Oxford 250.
Absolutely. All right, Max. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Casey. Have a good night, guys.